3, 2, 1. Now we're live.
All right. Hey everyone. Welcome back to another Meal Prep Live episode, and also happy Cinco de Mayo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I know. I totally forgot. And then yesterday was the Kentucky Derby. Oh. Anyways, so today on our Meal Prep Live, I'm going to do some chicken, broccoli, and mashed potatoes. Also, after I meal prep, we're going to do a little talk about supplements. And supplements that pertain to someone who goes to the gym and also just an everyday average Joe person. So for everyone, supplements. Also, so you guys can also meal prep along with me. So I do a meal prep recipe every single week of what I'm going to be making. And you get it every Monday. You have the whole week to prepare. And then you can use your Sunday to meal prep with me and then use the time to ask any questions that you have. And then also, we are live on our YouTube channel and Twitch, which for my Instagram people, it's a better viewing experience because you get to see down below. Also subscribe to the YouTube too, because if you miss any episodes, then you get the chance to rewatch them if you want to kind of rewatch what we were talking about, because everything is always very interesting what we talk about. So yeah, I'm gonna get started. And also, as always, I have Dan and Victoria with me.
Hello.
My sister Victoria is a registered dietitian and Dan is a personal trainer. So we have a lot of knowledge here if you ever want to ask any questions at all.
Absolutely.
They are very much welcomed. Okay? Alright, also, one more thing. We are in Dan's kitchen, if anyone is confused.
Where are we?
Because we're trying to sell the other house, so that's why we're here today. Alright, so
It's tough to run a show with open houses going on, isn't it?
It is!
Some fun stuff, huh?
You get all those random people walking through the background.
Matt.
Oh, where is it?
He's right there. Alright, anyways, let's not stray away. So I'm gonna start with my chicken. So the chicken has already been marinated, and I marinated it in olive oil, Italian seasoning, minced garlic, and salt. So pretty simple, but I like the olive oil because it adds some fat to the chicken when the chicken breast doesn't really have a lot of fat at all because it just has no fat.
I feel like that's the hardest thing
So it's
to add
tasteless.
to a meal, especially for you.
Yeah.
You should talk about how you weren't very good at it at first
Well,
with
looking
your
for
fat.
teaspoons, right?
Oh no, I'm looking for spread.
Oh, should be right in the bag.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we
I
go.
missed that.
It's because it has. Oh wait, no. I thought it had one of those non-labels. Nope, that has a label on.
Oh, okay. Alright, so usually I have my grill pan that I use, but I'm actually using Dan's skillet. So works just as well. And I'm just gonna spray it down first, of course. And then I'm gonna take my marinated chicken that I put in the marinade about maybe 2 hours ago. Also another tip for chicken breast is slicing it down the center. That way that it cooks more evenly. I don't know, I like it better that way. Alright, so we're gonna let those sit. I'm just gonna rinse my hands because it has raw fish or raw chicken.
Just a quick heads up, Danielle. The Instagram feeds
Is it being weird?
quality is very low today.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me see if I
Are you
can.
connected into our Wi-Fi?
Oh, maybe not. I actually shut my Wi-Fi off.
Oh,
that's
that could be it.
Yep, okay, let me.
You're blurry. We want
Blurry?
you.
Alright. Alright, sorry, Instagram peeps. I'll be right back. Okay. Wi-Fi. And oh shoot.
Do you have the
I see we
password?
don't want to do it. Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh
What was
Oh, I half remember it.
Alright, so I'm just gonna continue a little bit. So right now too, because I'm making mashed potatoes, I'm boiling my potatoes. And those are really boiling, so
Whoa!
So those are gonna boil for about 15 minutes. And I'm gonna start a timer, so it's probably already been about 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna put on a timer for 10. Let's see, chicken, come on. Alright. Oh, perfect. Okay, I'm just gonna do the Wi-Fi. Gentle.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Okay, let's see. Okay, we're on. All right, Instagram, we're back. Hopefully is that better?
You should know in a second.
Okay.
Probably has to,
Oh shoot, hold on. Pause to do, oh.
Pardon our technical difficulties
I know,
today.
jeez. All right, anyways, so right now I have the chicken going. The potatoes are boiling, so I said about like 15 minutes for those. Also, you can check to see with a fork after the 15 minutes if it's gonna be well enough. And then, I usually do my broccoli in a steamer in the microwave, but I'm going to steam it over the... it's frozen.
Yeah. I think it worked. I'm not sure what's happening.
It's working on here. Oh goodness. Sorry,
Seems like it's
Instagram.
working, right?
I'm gonna turn some stuff off so that...
Yeah, no, I have people on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's weird. Like, I see this moving.
All right, so for the chicken, it's about like, depending, 5 to 8 minutes on each side, and then you're gonna flip it.
Seems like it's good. Yeah,
Lord.
just do your thing.
Alrighty.
We'll try and fix it in the background.
Okay. All right, so let's flip the chicken. Ooh, that looks good. Smells really good.
Oh yeah, it does.
Whew.
Getting good whiffs of that over here.
Oh. Another tip with cooking chicken is to let it sit for a little bit after you cook it, before you cut it. That way it stays, I hate this word, but it stays moist.
Oh,
She said
I
it!
can't believe she said it.
There's honestly, there's no other word that you can use for it, you know? Like sometimes you just gotta use it. You just gotta suck it up and use it.
It's
You know?
wet.
It's wet. Not good. Still not good.
Alright, so let's see. We have about 8-ish minutes left on the potatoes. I already chopped up my broccoli, so for this, for 5 meals, I used 2 large crowns. So that's this. And yeah, that's pretty much. So, and then also for the mashed potato, I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of butter and then a cup of milk. And for milk, I use Fairlife. And you do too, Dan, right?
I do.
It's the best
You
milk.
drink milk?
Fairlife milk, though. They have the, I think they have the enzyme in there. The lactase enzyme. Yep.
Oh, good. I didn't know that works for you.
So
We never talked about that.
good.
I
It's
didn't know you said
amazing.
that.
They also enhance it with a little extra protein.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep. And then some of them they add the
10 grams per 8
I
ounces?
think 10 to 12.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think it's
Normally
actually
8,
12.
everybody. 8.
Yeah. So, and then they also
Something
have the DHA infused.
Oh.
13 grams in their chocolate.
13?
13.
Wow.
I know, no, and then it's very low sugar too. It's
Yeah, I
good
know. I
stuff.
read it.
What the heck?
That's great.
Live video ended. What? Ugh. Hold on, let me just try to get this up and going again. Oh, that's a picture. Very strange today, Instagram.
And it did connect to the Wi-Fi.
It
right?
did connect, yep.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Instagram, go
Oh,
to
this
the...
looks good.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Is
look,
it
that
good
looks
now?
a lot better. Okay.
Oh, good.
So maybe you just have
Maybe
to
I
use
probably
that.
should have reset it.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright, we're
Okay,
good.
we're back.
It's still like a little blurry, but we're better.
Oh, yeah. So
okay.
much better.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad.
YouTube is working fine from
Yes.
Mike Roboto, so that's
Yes, Instagram. You can go to YouTube or Twitch, actually. Better viewing experience.
much better.
And
We're
just search Better University and we'll pop
we're
up.
streaming in 4K.
Yes. Good stuff. All right, I'm just going to check the chicken, see if there's any pink in it. I'm just gonna rinse this off a little bit.
Alright.
Good.
That chicken looks great.
I know. I love when it has that little char on it.
Oh, looks good on the
Yeah.
camera too.
It does.
Oh, that's funny. The people who are watching on Twitch, I can like point to the food and they can see.
Oh, cool!
Look at that food! Look at that!
That's great. Alright, so just because I've never really cooked on this before, I'm not sure of the cooking time, so I'm just going to check the chicken. And it's also good to always check your chicken too. Let's see.
It's pretty much the same as any other.
Yeah.
Like if you were cooking in a skillet or whatnot.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Once the skin starts to bubble,
Exactly, that's when
you
it's
can be
typically...
pretty confident it's
Oh,
been
wow,
cooked
no.
through. No?
That is not anywhere near done.
Oh, okay. That's why you checked, right?
Good.
Yep.
Good thing.
See, good thing I checked. This one's a little bit thinner though, so it may... Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Maybe one more minute. Yeah, that's still really pink.
What temperature setting do you get this skillet?
350, should I do 400?
I bring up to 400.
Yeah, alright, it's up to 400. Alright. Another cool thing too that I don't know if it would work. I guess I could try it.
Why not?
Adding this on top.
Yeah, it'll steam your veggies.
Yeah, so I'm gonna actually try adding this on top of the potatoes.
That's actually why it exists. That is so you can multitask.
That's great.
Look at that. So I am simultaneously steaming my broccoli and cooking my potatoes.
I bet it gives it like flavor of some sort.
Starch.
Starch flavor.
Starch just flies up.
Yeah, not to, again, we try to not, oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for here? We try not to endorse products here on our show, but that is cookware by all recipes, and I would honestly say it's pretty awesome. That and my copper cook skillet are my two favorite things to utilize.
Good stuff. Very good stuff. And a reminder again, if you guys have any questions, please just ask us.
We are here to
We are
answer.
here and willing. We are here for you guys. Remember.
Yeah, I mean, we could do all this without the
I
cameras
could do this
being
without
on.
showing you guys, but I want to show you.
Help me help you.
Yes. So that's working great.
Right?
Is it?
That's so
I
cool.
kind of want one.
I definitely want one.
Did you order
You can
online?
smell it.
Or did you find it?
You
I feel like it's
think
very
Jamie's
specific.
mom might have given us
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. It's nice. Very good.
Or maybe it was her sister. No, it was somebody in her family
Right.
got that as like
Yeah.
either an apartment warming gift when we moved into our first
Yeah.
apartment, or it was a housewarming gift when we moved in here.
Yeah. No, it's great. Like even just for a meal.
If she
Like a
was
dinner?
watching the show right now, she could answer that.
Who, Jamie?
Uh-oh.
Is she awake? Oh, is she here?
Oh yeah, she's upstairs.
Oh, okay. Special guest appearance? Do we want to talk about your show a little bit? What
Yeah.
you're doing on Wednesday?
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. So, for those of you who aren't aware, Better University did just fire up our new show. We're going to keep doing our cooking show on Sundays, obviously. But now, Wednesday afternoons, I'm going to be filming a show called Fitlosophy with my buddy Omar, who also works at All Access Fitness with me. We're going to cover a whole range of topics about fitness and wellness, healthy living, mindset. You're basically the other half of the equation that isn't nutrition. We're going to be covering that every Wednesday. We're going to be bringing trainers in for interviews, massage therapists, physical therapists, basically anybody that works or exists within the fitness industry. We plan on bringing them in to, pick their brain and really get down to what is their Fitlosophy. So definitely, if you guys have a chance, catch it on Wednesdays if you can. Obviously, the reruns will always be available on our YouTube channel. More than welcome to check that out there. And as it, thank you so much, Mike, for following. All right. I love getting those new followers. Absolutely. Hey, if you guys are loving the show, please don't forget to hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. Help us keep food on the table and the lights on overhead. what else can I say about philosophy? I mean, that's really kind of it. It's,
So
it's a brand new show. It's evolving. It's changing. You know, we're going to adapt it based on our viewership. You know, what you guys want to know most. The show we've got coming up this Wednesday, we're going to be talking about office workers and a lot of issues that revolve around posture.
That's great.
After we threw down our pilot episode, we had an overwhelming amount of response for people who were concerned about posture and back issues that they were dealing with.
Really?
So
that's great.
we sat down, we thought about it, we said, you know, with everybody coming at us with all these questions about posture and back issues,
let's do it.
Let's do a whole show dedicated to that.
I can't wait.
So, absolutely, if you've got issues with your back, if you sit long hours at a desk, check out the show on Wednesday. It'll definitely be something that may change your life. You know?
Really though. It actually, when we went over it first, he helped me with my posture. It changed my life. I became conscious of it, and then all of a sudden things,
everything starts to kind of
and
click.
you can always learn more. I can always learn more about it,
always.
Everybody can always learn more.
that's great.
I don't care if you are an expert in your field. There is always something you can learn from someone.
Always. Yep.
An open mind.
Yep. Absolutely.
Another quick shout out for those of you who are watching right now. Tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Better University will be live hosting Scotty's nutrition seminar. He's going to be running at All Access Fitness. So if you can't join us in person to sit down and pick Scotty's brain, you're more than welcome to tune in live, watch him do his thing, and just listen to the sheer amount of knowledge that this man has on the topic and the subject. And absolutely, if you have questions, you know, feel free to ask via our chat apps, and I'll make sure that he hears your question while we're going through it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
That's exciting.
It's the beauty of technology.
Gotta love it.
All right, where are you at over here?
All right, so I was kind of, it's been 15 minutes on the potatoes boiling, and they're still not ready yet because I poked them with a fork and it wasn't really as I wanted. See, the broccoli looks pretty good. I would say the broccoli has a couple more minutes. Chicken is about halfway done. We're getting there. But it's funny, this marinade I just kind of randomly did one day, and it's so good.
What is the marinade?
So it's an olive oil base, and it has salt, Italian seasoning, and minced garlic. It's so simple, but I think the olive oil base is just like key.
I love it.
It's so key. It's great. I love it.
I always wonder, is it because we're Italian that we love that olive
I
oil?
love olive oil.
Because I've definitely doused some stuff and people have been like, whoa.
I douse it over everything.
Me too.
Like salads, everything.
It's so good.
Actually, Jamie oftentimes, rather than putting salad dressing in her salad,
me
just
too.
put olive oil right on top.
That's all I use dressing is. I just use olive oil. And then sometimes I'll do vinegar, but I mainly just do olive oil for dressing. Yeah.
Oh, here's Jamie.
There's Jamie!
Ah, there we go. Home Shopping Network?
Home Shopping Network if you want this
All right.
double cooker.
So definitely check that out, and you know, and if you act now,
You can get this one signed by Better University.
That's great.
hey, you know, actually that brings me to a really great question. What do you guys think about maybe one day getting some duplicates of some of our favorite tools and then doing a giveaway on the show while we're filming live?
Well, definitely what you did with the spray. The
That spray is awesome. Yep. We're referring to the fruit and veggie, and also
it's right there, by the way,
meat
if you
spray.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
that's the best. Yeah, stuff like that.
I got everyone hooked on it. So
Just
good.
remember, they do not endorse us. We
No.
endorse them.
No, we just find products that we love, and we just like to share it because it's tough to find good products.
It is, and there's so much out there and so
Like
much
quality,
noise too.
Yeah. Yep.
That you just I hate to say it, but we rely on influencers to figure out what we want.
Yeah, kind of.
No, that's true. And most of the time, it's not authentic. They're just doing it for money.
Yeah. And that, ironically, when we get into talking about supplements today, will be a good segue into that. Just because somebody is pushing a supplement doesn't necessarily mean they take it or use it themselves.
No. Nope. No, I mean, even me, myself, being someone who has a lot of followers, there's just constantly companies reaching out that want you to sell
Hey,
their
slide
product.
into our DMs. Let's
Exactly.
collab.
Exactly. There's just so many out there, and I mean, there are of course some that I like do my research, and of course I try it first, and I make sure it's like all good, the company's good, but the majority is just crap. You know, there's actually one that just reached out to me, and I think it was, I don't even know what it was some bean product, and they wanted me to post about it, and they're like, how much do you charge? I'm like, what? Like,
For posting it?
for like a giveaway, they're like, how much would you charge for us to do? I'm like, this is crazy.
Wow.
They're
Right?
really.
Oh yeah, and there's just always companies that just email you and ask about just promoting their product.
Dreaming elegance.
Oh my god.
I'm sure
I don't
everybody's
understand
got
the
hit by
basis
them.
of that whole.
It's a scam first off.
Well, yeah.
So we'll throw that out there right off the bat. Yeah, that's right.
I don't
Dreaming
understand.
elegance is a frickin' scam.
There's
But
like thousands of accounts.
yes,
Yeah.
well, it's because they get
Thousands.
reported for scam and spam, and then they create a new one.
Oh,
It's a athletic clothing apparel, and they try to find people that do fitness posts and be like, hey, you should collab with us, and then you have to pay them X amount of money to get your starter package, and then your
really?
starter package never shows up.
Really?
Yeah, so that's kind of how they scam people.
Interesting.
And it's weird because they're
Everyone
apparently
knows.
still successfully getting people to pay in because they're still doing it.
Someone will always do it. Someone will always.
Just recently, have you guys been hearing about the people posing as fake celebrities on social media platforms and convincing, these desperate fans to give them thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars? There was one about this poor old woman that got conned by somebody claiming to be Bruce Springsteen. Another one recently I read the other day was somebody posing as Jason Statham. It's like, oh man. On one hand, I want to say,
people.
if a celebrity is hitting you up for money and you've never met them before, that should be like a giant red flag to anyone out there.
More on them, but also people should never do that.
Well, I think about older people that they never had internet or anything like that.
Yeah,
And like
that's
they didn't
true.
have like answering machines and stuff, you know what I mean? So they just trust stuff because they just don't know.
Well,
and
even-
that's just really sad to me.
So I work in geriatrics, and we constantly have people coming in to educate them on the scams, like the latest scams.
That's
What
good.
people come up with is disgusting, and then they use the family to leverage, and they like look in to see what their names are of their like grandchildren, and then they like call being their
Well,
children. Like, it's
this so and so is in jail, and we need you we need you to
Wow,
tell me.
immediately.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
not old people. Please,
Move along.
please not older.
It's so sad. It is sad. That's awful.
It is, but hey, anything for money. All right, broccoli is definitely done. Woo.
Nice.
That was awesome.
We got a question from Mike in our Twitch channel.
Okay.
Why not brown the chicken in the pan and then finish it in the oven?
That is definitely a possibility.
One way you could do it.
All right. Yeah. And that's a great thing is you can do so much with chicken, and that's a great method.
Yeah, that would be. I think that would turn out great. You
That's
get
a great
the outside and then cook it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of my favorite things to do, if you've never cooked with a cast iron skillet before, by the way,
Yeah.
you need to cook with a cast iron skillet. It's one of those things.
I don't think I have one.
You cook it just a little bit in the skillet, and then you throw it. It's actually probably in the oven right now, would be my guess.
Or do you have like another? I need to put the broccoli in something, or I guess I could just put it to the side, but on something. Again, for those of you who do not know, we're in Dan's kitchen, so I'm not fully aware of where everything is. Thank you. All right. Okay, so broccoli is done, and we use the boiling water from the potatoes to cook them, so that's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Definitely need to get myself one of these.
I know.
Another option for your broccoli is you can add seasoning. You can add whatever you want. So if you're a subscriber to my meal preps, that's always an option. Is kind of take my recipes as a baseline and add, subtract anything that you want from them. Everyone has their own personal preference, so.
One of our enrolled students in Better University, Heather, she's really been stepping her game up, taking the recipes and really making them her own. So, Heather, if you're watching today, thank you so much. Like, you've actually been inspiring us with the cool stuff you've been coming up with using our recipes.
Yeah. That's also another great thing to add is we have a Facebook group. If you search Better University on Facebook, we share information every single day, and we're very active on it too. So
it is a closed group, so you will have to ask for permission to join in, but it's totally free. We don't charge you anything. You know, information, knowledge, absolutely. We strongly believe in trying to beat ignorance to death by providing as much good, free information as we can. That, you know, will help you make better decisions in your day-to-day life and just live healthier.
Yeah. So we have a question from Instagram.
Okay.
M. Ramos.
Yep.
2005. Can you add melted cheese? I'm guessing maybe that's to the chicken or to the broccoli.
You can do whatever you want. Yes, absolutely. You can do whatever you want. You can do it to the broccoli. I know because, what is there? The cheese and broccoli? Like, there's some dish that people make with cheese and broccoli.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Right? Cheese and broccoli.
Again, that's what you gotta do. Just make it your own. Because that's also another good point is you don't have to eat healthy food that you don't like. You know, just pick the ones that, I mean, definitely experiment with what you like, but also understand that you don't have to force yourself to eat what you don't like. There are plenty of options out there.
You know, that's definitely always one of the tough ones when people, they approach me, they'll be like, you know, I want to eat healthy, but I just don't like the way healthy food tastes.
Yeah, so
like,
then
well,
make
what have you
it
tried?
how you like it.
And a lot of times they tell me, you know, oh, I have like boiled chicken and plain rice. Like, well, no wonder you're not enjoying it.
Exactly.
I wouldn't enjoy that either.
No, hell no.
Yeah, and it depends how committed you want to be too. If you really want to eat it, then you'll put the more effort in to make it taste better.
Exactly. Yep.
And go explore the grocery store.
Yeah. Yep. And there are so many resources online.
Yeah.
You have no excuse.
And us.
Yeah.
And we are a great resource. Alright, so we just got one more chicken left. The potatoes are taking longer than I thought. I probably should have cubed them, but
yeah, so
you live and you learn.
It's definitely one thing about potatoes.
Yeah.
They're very dense objects.
They're so dense.
Cutting your potatoes, the smaller you cut them, the quicker they're going to boil or cook or whatever. Another thing too, you know, if you nuke them real quick in the microwave just to soften them up a bit, that definitely helps them cook a little bit faster as well.
Yeah, so that's a great point. Yep.
Especially before cutting potatoes, I'll wrap them in like a paper towel and just nuke them for a quick minute.
Yep.
And it makes cutting them so much easier.
Speaking of microwaves, I was just listening to a podcast, they went into detail about how it cooks food and everything, and I just like really haven't thought about that for a while. It literally vibrates the water molecules until friction cooks the food.
What? They covered that in a mind pump.
And it was discovered because in World War one of the world wars, they were trying to do radio signals to each other, and they found that it was melting chocolate bars in front of their device.
Wow.
So no, it doesn't mess with your food really at all, unless you have like a piece of plastic or something that might melt into it. Like, but other than that, I haven't thought about that for a little bit. It's great.
So we got a quick shout out for Junior 12574 watching on our Twitch channel. He's really digging this recipe and absolutely digging the chef as well.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And I feel like a lot of people think that microwaves are unhealthy.
Right, and that's why I was saying this.
Well, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to hit my food with radiation? I don't want to eat radiation.
Actually, someone I know doesn't have one in their house.
Because of that?
Because of that.
Like I said though, it depends what you microwave. Like you can definitely get some weird particles in there from like if you do it in a plastic container or something. But if you're just doing food on like a plastic or on a glass plate.
Exactly. It depends on the material you put in with your food.
The other thing too about microwaves is, and this is something that I know a lot of people have been concerned about before is actual radiation leaking out while it's cooking.
Yes, like not staying
Right.
near
So-
it while it's active.
Yeah,
Yep.
if you've ever
I've heard
noticed
that.
the screening
Yeah.
they have kind of built into microwaves, that actually is designed to deflect that. Now, an interesting little test you can try is to put your cell phone inside the microwave. Don't turn it on.
No.
Do not turn the microwave on with your cell phone inside it.
No.
But place your cell phone inside and then call it.
No way.
Oh,
It won't?
to see if the
Because
service.
if the screening is strong enough, you will not be able to contact your phone inside the microwave.
That is
That's-
so cool.
I love little hacks like that. That's so cool.
Wow.
So I just want to let you guys know quickly what I'm doing. So right now I'm just making like the liquid portion for the mashed potatoes. I'm gonna do the butter and milk. So I'm just gonna heat that up in a mini saucepan, and then I'll add that in with the mashed potatoes. And then again, add whatever seasonings you want. I'll probably just do like salt and pepper, but you can also do like Italian seasoning. You can do some garlic, whatever you guys prefer. But that's crazy.
I definitely.
Microwaves are fascinating.
Wow, I gotta do that. But also, if you notice that the screen on the front, the holes are pretty big. Microwaves are big.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's really
very big.
interesting. I love all
I know.
stuff like that.
It makes you feel better. Like some things that we have are actually safe.
I know because well, you hear things so frequently and
everyone
so
freaks out,
often
but
that you
for a
just
reason.
don't think to question it because that's all you've ever heard. So once you hear that that's not true, it's like, what else
How
don't
much
I know?
information gets perpetuated.
Always look
Exactly.
things up yourself.
Yep. It's crazy.
Like I said, I believe just recently the EPA said, hey, people who are washing your chicken in the sink, stop doing that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
for those of you who were not aware of that,
Okay.
yeah, so if you are still washing your chicken in the sink, for some reason I want to say your kitchen in the sink, but your chicken in the sink, they've actually just recommended, yeah, that's not something you actually should do. It promotes the spread of
Right.
bacteria and all that other stuff.
Did they just
Yeah,
release
well,
that?
so apparently it was never actually a thing that you were supposed to wash your chicken. It was just one of those things that people
Everyone did.
told everybody, so
I
everybody
thought
did
you
it.
weren't supposed to. Maybe I just knew that from, I don't
Yeah,
know.
from your
Yeah,
educational
maybe.
background, like, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, maybe.
Hang on 1 second, Junior. I will absolutely post her Instagram information in for you so you can check out all of Danielle's awesome tips and tricks.
Woo. Great. And then next week we have a really cool recipe. I'm doing healthy chicken nuggets. And I tested this recipe and it's so good. So good. So it's gonna be chicken nuggets with sweet potato fries and a side salad. I'm excited for that one. This one's a little bit more on the basic side, but still good. Can't go crazy every single week. Yeah, still definitely needs to be cooked. Alright, let's see what these darn stubborn potatoes are doing. I like try cutting into them. These are pretty good. Yeah, I would say that's done.
There you go.
Sweet. So, just to speed up the process a little bit, I made some little slits in the potatoes. Okay, so I have my bowl over here of the ones that are done.
Quick question from Mike in our Twitch channel. Do you list the nutritional content?
I do, and I break it down for each meal. I don't do like the micronutrients, of course, but I just do the macros and then the calories for each meal. And it's gonna make 5 meals, so you can do it for. You can even do it if you have a family. You know, you can make it for dinner, but I do it specifically for 5 days for my lunches.
So again, as part of our subscription service with the meal plans, you know, the meal prep guide, the grocery list that comes with it, you know, you'll also get the nutritional breakdown of the meals that you're going to be making, the macro contents, all that good stuff.
And again, next week is chicken nuggets.
Yes.
Woo!
Chicken nuggets.
Now, it's funny because when you say chicken nuggets, I mean, my first thought is to kind of like be repulsed a little bit, like, wait a minute, chicken nuggets? I thought chicken nuggets were unhealthy.
Oh no. No, no.
Oh, nay, nay.
Oh, no, no, no. You can make it healthy.
You can make pretty much almost
You can make anything healthy.
Really?
Try me.
Say almost.
Not one ingredient.
Okay.
A recipe. I saw your head working. I heard what you were saying in your head.
You say, what about a Snickers bar? Can you make a Snickers bar healthy?
You can use dark chocolate. You can use, obviously, does Snickers have peanuts?
Yep.
What else does it have?
Nougat.
Caramel. Okay. I would have to think of another caramel. I mean, caramel's not bad. Maybe you just like reduce, yeah.
Use brown sugar instead of like
Maybe,
sugar.
I'm sure you can definitely make a healthy caramel. Or another of the same substance and consistency.
Actually, you could probably make a nougat out of like some kind of Bavarian cream, which is not healthy for you, but not as bad.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be like healthy, it'll be healthier.
Yeah. Alright.
Gotta throw that ER on it.
Healthier. Alright, so I'm gonna mash up the potatoes. Let me just check this chicken.
Say if the chicken's all done, what we can do is we can move the potato
Mash it
bowl
right there,
and move the.
Yep, I think this should definitely be done. Yeah, this is done. Okay,
There
so
we
I'm
go.
gonna move. Let me shut this off. And then we'll move this guy over. I like this pan.
Right, it's pretty
Nice.
good.
Yeah. Are there different attachments, or is it just that?
I think there's just that one.
Yeah.
That's like the heating element and whatnot.
Yeah. Cool.
Growing up, that's basically the same skillet my mother had.
Really?
And when I moved out on my own, she got me my very own skillet.
That's great.
She's like, here you go, son. Off on your own.
Oh.
Your own skillet.
From our Twitch channel and our viewer Mike, actually, there's very little real chocolate in a Snickers bar.
Oh gosh, I believe it.
Interesting.
Well, it's just the outside, so.
Yeah. But what is it then?
Confectioner's chocolate?
Yeah.
Like brown dyed sugar?
Ew, gross.
That's funny.
Okay, so we have our chicken sitting at the side. I didn't cut into it yet because it's gonna keep that moisture in the chicken. That's a really popular question I get on Instagram. What?
So where he got that factoid from, he learned that while he was in Costa Rica at a cocoa plantation.
Ah.
Good to know.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's straight from the mouth of a cocoa worker.
Yes.
That's it.
So a lot of people ask me on Instagram how I keep chicken moist. But that is a great tip. One, don't overcook it, and also don't cut it immediately after it's finished cooking.
Yeah,
Those are some like
kind of...
exactly. Just keep it all in it, and also it continues to cook as well.
A little bit.
All right, so we're gonna mash these up. This is gonna be difficult. God,
Oh,
I'm
with
like
your
shedding.
shoulder.
This is gross.
You gonna be able to do that with your shoulder?
Yeah, I'll just smash with my right. See, we're good.
Okay, all right.
Nice view.
Left is just a
Look
stabilizer.
at that, yeah. See that? You see that right there? Mash,
So,
mash, mash.
You will also notice that I kept the skin on.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you know how we were looking for a word to use in place of moist?
Yes.
Why not succulent?
That's a nice word. That reminds me of like plants.
Yes, the succulent plant.
I like that word.
I'm sorry, you were just about to say left the skin on the potatoes.
Oh,
Why did we leave the skin on the potatoes?
Nutrients!
Yes. So for those of you who are unaware, most of the nutrition in potatoes is right in the skin.
And also, most of the nutrition in most fruits and vegetables is on the skin.
Yeah.
Yes. Isn't that why they say you shouldn't like wash it until like right about when you're ready to consume or eat it?
Wow, I'm not sure. I really don't know.
Yes, I've heard that before.
I've never
Yeah.
heard that.
But it could be one of those things that people just say and it gets
Right,
repeated enough
I've
times.
never heard that, so.
Another interesting thing while we're talking about nutrients, I just did a presentation on, well, whatever, it's a different health topic, but I also touched upon a whole wheat grain and like what versus processed in whole form. So
Yeah.
what they do with the
Talking about the
processed
wheat
one,
germ.
exactly. So the endosperm and the germ is what has the nutrients, and when it goes through the processing system, it takes off those two. So then you're losing
Yeah.
those nutrients, and then you just have like the carbohydrate and
It's ridiculous,
protein
I don't
form of
understand.
the wheat.
Yeah.
So that's why you want to get whole grain options instead of the white caca.
Yes.
And also multigrain, debatable.
Yeah. So what is that like natural? Like how the
It's
word
good for
natural
you, but
is
I
used?
feel like just doing whole grains is
Yeah,
a little
whole
bit
grains.
more safe and better.
I always forget there's a camera over there.
Multigrain's good though, get different types of
Yeah.
nutrients and stuff, but.
So depending on how you like your mashed potatoes, you can keep smashing these and make them very smooth, or you can not mash it as much and have little chunks. You can also use one of those handheld blenders. I'm not sure how well that would work with potatoes, but I don't know. Maybe.
Also, I put olive oil in my potatoes too.
Ooh, yum.
Instead of like butter. But then you can get like buttery spread, non-dairy with a bunch of different types of oils. I just bought one actually that was avocado oil base.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
decided to try
I know,
it.
they
It's good.
have-
I tried it last night.
Yeah, they have a lot more avocado. I mean, I'm sorry, that's not avocado. I'm thinking olive oil.
Yeah.
They have a lot more olive oil-based products now.
Yeah. And also the olive oil, I don't know, the extra virgin olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what makes it extra virgin?
Seriously, why do you have to be extra olive oil?
I mean, isn't
Check it out.
extra a bad thing? Like, haven't we differentiated that?
See if you
And
can find it.
also, the purity of it is debated a lot now
Yeah.
because of the manufacturers and stuff. So, I mean, I don't think the nutrient content changes, but like the price you're paying for something
Yes.
that's supposed to be so pure really isn't
Yep.
that pure sometimes.
Well, it's kind of like the same case with organic, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
People.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't know what that actually means.
Exactly. Yep.
It's like, oh, it's organic. It must be better for me.
Oh, I don't have to wash it. No, you do.
No, you
no.
should still water it.
That's a good one. I didn't really get that one.
Yeah. All right, so see how this is now getting smoother because I added that liquid mixture, which was just milk and butter, just a little bit. Add some fat. All right, so this looks pretty good. I think we're done.
Nice.
Yeah. So the chicken is pretty decent. I'm gonna add it over here, and then we have the broccoli. Yum! So if you're looking at this camera, I think you can see all of it.
Yeah. Oh, I would move it like towards the pan a little bit. No, the other way.
Oh.
Nice. There you go. That broccoli's looking good.
Woohoo!
See? Oh.
All right, so that's it, guys. Very simple. That only took. Wow. Is that a half hour?
No, we started at like 11:30ish, right?
Oh, so like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
That's still not bad.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Sweet. So.
Yeah, that is definitely one thing that we do
Yeah.
try to focus on, keeping our recipes to fall within
Yes.
30 to 45 minutes, because I mean, who's honestly got time to spend hours and hours and hours cooking an awesome meal?
Alrighty.
So these I'll also show you. Maybe I'll just package. These are my containers. I use glass. I started out using plastic because it was cheaper and I honestly wasn't really aware of how awesome glass is. So I got these on Amazon. I'm not really promoting this. I just have been using them for so long. It's Meal Prep Society, and these are the specific ones I use. They're great. I love glass. You can reheat them. You don't have to worry about reheating in the microwave with plastic. Good stuff. So I will package them and then we will chat about supplements. I don't know if you guys want to start talking about it
We
because,
can do that.
yeah, and then I'll just kind of hop in and,
But in that meantime, while you're doing that, I'm going to kind of reorient our
okay.
cameras a little bit so that
Yes.
way we get to our new Just Chatting.
Woohoo! Alright, so I'm just gonna package these into my 5 meals, and these meals are my lunches for the 5-day work week. A lot of people ask me if I get bored. Yes, sometimes I do. Honestly, sometimes. Majority of the time I don't because all of my other meals, they vary. So my breakfasts are always different, dinner's always different, then my snacks are always different. So
Oh yeah.
it's not
I
bad.
say I gotta push myself back a little bit so I'm not completely blocking you from the view.
Alright.
Alright.
So, the two big supplements that we want to start with today, we decided we wanted to focus a lot on things that generally people kind of take without thinking too much about, just because they're very widely studied, they're very common in the supplement industry. Those two supplements are creatine and fish oil. I think we've got one or two others in there as well that we may cover a little bit on, but those are the big ones that I constantly hear people talking about. I'm always getting asked questions about creatine, especially as it relates to fitness, being a personal trainer. So why don't we kick off with creatine?
All right.
I'll start us off. So what exactly is creatine? Well, it is a substance that can be found in a couple different amino acids It naturally occurs inside your body. If you have a high meat diet, you'll probably have a higher concentration of creatine than somebody who's either a vegetarian or a vegan. That being said, people who do stick to mostly a vegan diet, they'll generally have the most pronounced effects from taking a creatine type supplement.
Right.
Yep.
So, with that in mind, one of the big questions I get on creatine, especially because people are like, oh, well, if it's so awesome and a little bit goes a long way, should I just take more? So, you actually do reach a saturation point with creatine. And what a saturation point means is you hit this level where you can't actually hold on to anymore. Think of it kind of like a grain silo filled with grain, and eventually you get to the top. And once you hit the top, you can't physically fit any more inside that silo. Well, how your muscles hold and store creatine is pretty much the same. You can take as much of the supplement as you want. Okay, hold on. Let me backtrack there a little bit. Taking a lot of creatine, more than the recommended dosage, even a loading dose, eventually you can create issues for yourself because, like anything else you put in your body, it does have to be filtered out by your kidneys, liver, all that fun stuff.
Yep.
So, are you going to create issues? No, not necessarily. Are there side effects? There can be. But if you stick to the recommended dosages, don't try to think if a little is great, a lot is better, and you probably will be in the 99% that have absolutely no issues with creatine and actually generally get some pretty good benefits from it.
Yeah.
So with all that kind of being said, I did talk about loading doses, so I do want to hit that real quick before we dive a little bit deeper. If you're starting a creatine regimen, sometimes people will recommend that you'll take 10 milligrams instead of 5 milligrams for like the first 3 days. So this is what's known as a loading dose. So again, we hit that saturation point and we can't have any more in the tissue, but the idea with the loading dose is to get to that saturation point quicker than if you were to just take the 5 milligrams each day. Now that being said, yeah, you can take the 5 milligrams each day and eventually you'll hit your saturation point. But, doing the loading dose sometimes, especially if you like to cycle your supplements, so if you do 2 to 3 months on creatine, then a month off creatine, it is advantageous to do that loading phase.
Yeah.
So, let's dive into some of the science behind creatine and what it does. Do you want to kick this one off for us?
Alrighty, so basically what it's doing is, like we said, it's like a few amino acids, but they're non-essential. So this is something that's already found in your muscles and your brain mostly, but also like your liver and your kidneys and pancreas. But what's happening, I think it's attaching, it likes to be part of a phosphorus, which gives you energy. So it converts it into that in your body, and that's what's giving you that extra push of energy.
Yes.
I'm not sure too much about that threshold you're talking about, but I'm sure there is one, like everything. So yeah, it's a natural thing, but don't overdo it because a lot of protein can be very damaging to your kidneys.
You like kidney stones? That's how you get kidney stones.
And also a few other warnings here. Don't take it with caffeine. Not good. Also, it can increase your body heat and all this other stuff. It's similar to a stimulant type of thing. And what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh yeah, and because it can damage your kidneys, try not to take it with NSAIDs, like anti-inflammatories and stuff that's already putting
things that you're already going to be trying to filter out of your body just because, well, you've got to filter them out to begin with.
Yep.
So, one interesting thing to note, especially with creatine, some people think, oh, if I just take this, I'll build more muscle.
Yeah.
I love kids.
What is it?
Omar's watching on YouTube right now. He's goofing. Oh, what a goof.
What did he say?
He said, I love kidney stones.
Who doesn't? They feel awesome.
Right?
Yeah, right?
Great.
I mean, I've always wanted to push this sharp, rough stone out of my...
What a crazy concept, though.
It is.
Isn't that wild?
It is.
It's so crazy.
Well, it's like it is. It's excess protein, and as it just kind of forms into a crystal.
But the way your body decides to excrete that, it's like punishing you. It's like
Don't
this
do
is what
this
you
again.
get.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, everything that goes through the kidneys eventually goes through to, the bladder.
Yeah.
So it does make sense
No, it
that
does,
that
but it's like-
particular particle
They're all
Yeah.
connected
would form
so
there.
closely,
Absolutely.
yeah.
For sure.
So that being said, moving back into people thinking, oh, if I just take creatine, I'll build muscle tissue.
Oh, right.
So that's not actually the case. What creatine allows you to do on exercise science based information is in our body we have an energy currency known as ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. That word phosphate comes in because, again, what is creatine?
Energy. Type of energy.
So it's a derivative of what's known as creophosphate. So again, we have that phosphate, we have ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Now we're going to branch that a little bit. So when you're using ATP, that energy currency that creates muscular contraction, what happens is that phosphate gets severed from the ATP to create that motion. Now, when you eventually run out of phosphorus, you
Right.
can't create ATP anymore. So
There you
then
go. That's the threshold I'm talking about.
suddenly it stops. That's where creatine comes in and starts kicking in. That creatine then becomes that extra phosphate you need to keep manufacturing ATP for work. So when you're in the gym, let's say you can move X amount of weight for 12 repetitions with the given amount of ATP that you have. We'll introduce creatine to the equation, and now you can move X amount of weight 14 reps instead of 12. So it isn't that taking creatine builds muscle tissue. What it is creatine allows you to do more work in the same amount of time.
Right.
So when you're doing more work, that's what's going to cause the little micro tears in the muscle, to then create that effect that we're looking for with muscle growth. It's going to allow you to have more energy to push heavier weights. So when you're trying to create that central nervous system adaptation.
So one of the ways I learned this very well is that it's like a shuttle. So it brings phosphorus into the muscle. So it shuttles it in. So I don't know. That was just a good way that I learned it. Yeah.
So just kind of covering everything that we touched on right there. Don't overdo your creatine. If you do a loading dose, only stick with it for about 3 days. Other than that, stick to the recommended dosaging, especially if you've already got a relatively good sources of meat and protein in your diet, because you're going to have pretty good natural creatine levels already.
Right.
Taking it does not build muscle tissue, but it does allow you to create and produce that extra work that will help you expedite the process of muscle tissue building. And yeah, I think that's kind of all we really
that was good.
covered.
Also,
for that.
it's just highly researched, and there's so much information that
Yes.
backs how
Absolutely.
amazing creatine is.
And also, there's not too much long-term research, so we don't know about that either.
Well,
Like
that's-
everything.
Yeah,
Like most
but the
things.
good thing about creatine is it's one of the first supplements that they ever started researching. So
Lots of
as far as supplements are concerned, we have more studies and information on creatine than we do just about anything else. So moving on from there, I think we're going to talk about fish oil next.
Yeah.
So fish oil is a fun one because almost every doctor will recommend some kind of fish oil supplement for people. What you get specifically from fish oil are the omega-3 fatty acids. Do you want to kind of give us an idea of what omega-3 fatty acids do for the body?
Yeah, we have DHA and EPA. I did a
So
study on
nice
this.
of you to join us out.
This isn't following me today.
I researched this for my final project. Specifically how it affects depression. So it's actually the EPA that helps with depression, but it also helps with inflammation as well. It can help with your blood pressure, a lot of different cardiovascular health, and it's found in mostly the fatty fish and like salmon, tuna, mackerel. So things like cod and like the less fatty fish doesn't have as much. Nuts as well, and flaxseed actually. A lot of people do scoops of flaxseed in like your smoothies, so that's a really good source.
Yeah.
Like
I
and
actually
plant-based.
did not know that.
Yeah, plant-based source. Yeah, very
Good to
high.
know.
Yeah.
And there's also flaxseed oil pills. Actually,
Yeah,
our mom
probably
takes
for that
them because she
reason,
has hip issues. Does she
Probably
Does that help with the
Probably
inflammation?
for inflammation.
Yes, and it helps with her inflammation. Yeah, she
It
takes them for her
does.
hips, and it has helped her.
Good.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
I don't think it's placebo because it's been a while. Unless if she was just faking it. I'm just kidding.
Hope you're not watching, Mom.
Ma!
Just
Sorry.
kidding.
We love you.
Definitely read the back of the, like how much you're supposed to take, because I remember I was shocked that you're supposed to take like 2 twice a day or something, depending on which one you get. It's not just one a day sometimes.
So is there a way, I don't know if you know, but is there a way for you to find the best quality fish oil? Because of course quality goes into it, but like the levels EPA, yeah, okay.
There is a thing that manufacturers are supposed to get before they release a supplement to the market, and it's called the COA. Certified. I'm forgetting exactly what the COA is right now.
What is a seal?
Basically, it means this product has been tested in a lab.
And USP, I think, is also the same.
Okay,
the stamp on it. There's a couple companies that do it, I guess.
So what the COA is it's basically, here's the product we tested, we found these levels of all this stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of manufacturing supplement companies don't provide their COA with their product. You have to ask for it. They are not legally obligated to give it to you.
Which is awful.
So, first thing right there, if a company does not want to share its COA with you by asking, or if they do not provide it on the physical, the bottle, just stay away from it, because that's already, what do they have to hide? Because if anything, they would want to show you that, to be like proud, to be able to say like, oh yeah, this is everything that's in it, everything that we claim it to be, it's right here.
Do you think it's certificate of authenticity? That's what Tony said. Or is it
that
like a company?
I believe it's for, because it has to do with, some kind of like actual testing procedure. Okay. And I do remember the C did stand for certified.
Okay.
Also, I'm sure it's very hard to obtain that seal, so if you are looking for something, they're going to put that on there. Yeah. Because to get that seal, it's probably very difficult.
So that actually brings me to a very good point as far as fish oils are concerned. If you are going to be taking a fish oil supplement, you should absolutely be concerned with the quality of it.
Oh, yes.
First off, the freshness of a fish oil absolutely impacts what you get out of it. For instance, if it's a fish oil that isn't particularly fresh and it's what we call rancid, that will actually have the complete opposite effect of what you're going for, and it can increase inflammatory response
to, right?
Yes, the oxidation effect. You're absolutely correct. So that being said, eating real fatty fish is the best way to get that stuff. But, the average diet doesn't consist of that much fish unless you have like a Mediterranean diet, or you live close by to a body of water. Another thing to take into account with absolutely why, a lot of people don't necessarily like to eat a lot of fish is because of the heavy metals. Now, the good news is fish, the creature, they have selenium. And what this does is it's kind of like a natural filter for them to help remove or at least bind to a lot of those heavy metals. So when you eat the fish, the mercury is already bound to that selenium, so it won't actually bind to any of your tissues and goes right out the other end. Now, when you're taking fish oil pills, because they can skirt around certain things, now again, that's why you want to make sure you're getting something that has, all these checks and balances to be really authentic and pure, because when you remove the selenium, well, now those heavy metals that are naturally occurring are not going to have something to readily bind to. There is a process by which they remove a lot of these metals. It's the purification process that a company has to go through to create, their supplement. But again, you can kind of half-ass that process, and not all those heavy metals are going to be, reduced. So if you say, oh, this process is supposed to remove X amount, you'd be like, oh yeah, we did this process, but if you didn't do it right and you actually test the product, you can find out.
And it's just another step to screw up, just another thing.
Yes.
Extra thing there.
Tony checking in with us on YouTube. Yes, we are at Dan's house today. This is Dan's kitchen.
And she said certificate of analysis. Does that sound better?
Certificate of analysis. That does sound correct. Yes, because they are analyzing it. So yes, the COA, Certificate of Analysis. That means yes, this has gone to an independent lab. It has been tested. These are the results they gave us. So again, if they say, oh, we have a COA, and you say, can I see it? And they say, no. Yeah, just stay away from that. But a lot of times companies will absolutely, put that stuff up on their website.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't even have to call them up to get that information. If they're proud of their product, they will display that stuff.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
It
and
should
like
be
I
shown.
said, just another thing about these supplements in general, this USP. I want to see if I can like blow this up real quick. This is a good company that I'm sure they get their supplements. The companies paid these people to test it and put it on there, like to verify. I'm sure that's what's going on. Yeah, I don't know if we can show this, but it's USP, dietary supplement.
USP label?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only one I know thus far. I had not researched it for a little bit, but
Yeah.
like you said, the COA can help too. So
Yes.
yeah, it's tough.
So the one last thing that I wanted to make sure that we covered with this, so krill oil.
Oh jeez.
So if you've heard that word thrown out before, krill oil, be like, oh, all right, well I know what fish oil is, but what's krill oil? Well, krill, also fish. But more importantly, it's there's really tiny fish that you typically won't see. They're plankton? They're a derivative of plankton, right?
Yeah, like whale.
So whale food. Whale food.
And they just gulp them up.
Yeah. So I can't for the life of me remember exactly what it is, but there's something about krill oil that makes it a lot more pure. I think it's because they don't eat fish. So
At the bottom of the barrel.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
So because fish
They have,
eat
like,
other
the main-
fish, they tend to have that higher concentration of the stuff that you don't want. But
That's
because
interesting.
krill, they feed on algae and all that other fun stuff, they don't really have that same concentration of the heavy metals. So it is what we would consider a much more pure oil.
Yes.
I
Makes sense.
believe, now unfortunately I can't say quote me on this one, but I believe the shelf life of krill oil also is a lot longer than regular fish oil. So when I say shelf life, what that means is, earlier we were discussing, fish oils going rancid.
Right.
It takes longer for krill oil to turn rancid versus fish oil.
Right. This is a great example of getting down to what actually we're eating. Like
Yes.
this is the base of the omega-3s, right? The krill.
The bottom
Yeah.
of the food chain.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the best
The
source
pure, yeah.
before it gets
Purest
through
form.
everything else. So
So, just to kind of recap on that, fish oil, krill oil, you get the omega-3 fatty acids, which are really good for inflammatory, brain health,
heart health.
heart health,
Heart health.
lots of good stuff. Make sure you check for freshness because rancid oils do the exact opposite. Make sure you look for a good pure substance that has a good COA. Oh, bye Instagram.
Pause due to poor connection.
Oh,
Oh,
I thought we hit that hour mark. Oh.
We are going to in a moment.
Oh jeez, I turned it around. Okay, we're back. Okay, yes.
Hold on, just got some really good information thrown at us on our YouTube page.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so thank you, Tony, for throwing that in there. So
Yeah.
one of the big things between krill oil and fish oil also has to do with the absorption rate and that factor. So krill oil tends to bond with phospholipids, while fish oil tends to bond with triglycerides.
Ah.
Yes.
Completely different.
So that
Very,
does
very different.
it affects the
Yeah.
absorption rates
Huh.
inside your body.
Huh.
So the other thing with krill oil is the things that I had already said, but you will tend to absorb more of the good stuff from your krill oil as opposed to the fish oil.
Cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So other than that, all right, we were covering our bullet points.
Creatine.
Not rancid. No, we're done with
We're done
creatine.
with
We like
Okay.
just
Wait, you were
Okay.
packing up your meals. We finished that. We're
No,
done.
I know, but I didn't know if you wanted to recap it.
So make sure it's not rancid. Make sure it's fresh. Check your labels. Check your dates. Look for that COA. Look for information from the manufacturer, what their purification process is. Make sure that it's sustainable. Make sure they're using fattier fishes. If it's derived from cod liver oil, that's going to be some of the best fish oil you can get. I think that's about it as far as like that
Yeah.
recap's
Yeah.
concerned.
I would say so.
So other than that, do you guys out in virtual land have any questions on creatine, fish oil? No?
Anything?
No? If you do, feel free to throw that in there while we're doing our wrap-up segment. Are there any other supplements that are pretty common that we wanted to touch upon a little bit before we?
I just he's stretching. I just want to talk about vitamin D and calcium. That's not a bad idea always. In a multivitamin, it's not a bad idea as long as you're looking at what's in it and if it's like certified and whatever. Because I think we talked about this last time about the vitamin D.
We did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And
in New
protein.
England, there's only a few short months that the angle of the sun is good enough. It's not that you can't go stand outside in the sun in the winter and get vitamin D. It's just the angle you need to get it. So we're all deficient. And you can really only find it in mushrooms and the fatty fish. So fatty fish.
I think.
But
That's
not
a great
enough,
question.
you know?
Instagram. What about a green supplement?
Ooh, green supplement.
Yes.
Like that.
So as
I don't know anything
anything,
about this.
the best source of anything is from foods. But if you're
Absolutely.
not getting enough out of your diet, then you're going to have to supplement. But
Right.
don't
Alright.
use that
So
as
we're
your
gonna make
main
sure we don't put the brand name out there. But so green supplements.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you're thinking of green supplements, you're gonna hear one particular word pop up a lot, and that is spirulina.
Yes.
Now, I don't know enough to claim to be an authority to talk about our greens supplement. I do obviously have a green supplement here that I do take from time to time. I will tell you, I spent a month one time, just as an experiment,
Yeah.
I actually replaced my morning coffee
Oh, I remember you
with
doing this.
instead a tall glass of water with my green supplement. And what I found through that process was I had a lot more energy. My skin definitely started to feel and look a lot healthier. Eyes were a lot brighter. I can tell you my hair definitely was a much healthier consistency.
Wow.
That being said, not having my morning coffee and being addicted to that caffeine was absolutely miserable.
I can imagine.
And on top of that, there's no way to make this taste good.
No.
I mean, you can make it not taste bad, but there's no way to make it taste
But
good.
also, if you do find the ones that do taste good, they're probably not good because they're probably full of sugar or some crap sugar.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
So
So.
we have a question for you, Dan. What's your take from Taryn on test boosters?
Test boosters.
Just like
Oh, you think testosterone
Yep.
boosters?
Oh, I see.
Testosterone.
Oh.
And I'm looking at this Bang drink, and it was it was difficult for me to find the nutrition information on the website.
So
let me
that's
just tell
already
you that.
scary enough.
So I think we're
So,
like a no.
One of the big things with Bang, I will tell you, they're delicious.
Yes.
The caffeine in them
Sick.
absolutely delivers. What it is they also claim to have a high dose of CoQ10 in it. What we've come to find out, though, is their claims and what you're actually getting are two very different
CoQ10 is good
things.
for certain people, but
I'm just gonna.
that's
I'm
interesting.
just gonna
So
see.
no on the Bang drink. We don't like. I don't think.
So to cover real quick though, I want to cover Taryn's question
Yeah.
on testosterone
Yes.
boosters. So here's the thing about that. Most of the information and studies I've read about these testosterone boosters out there is the negative side effects they have associated with them are tenfold compared to any potential benefit that they could possibly have. Short of taking a form of steroid, which will help your body produce more testosterone, these boosters that are
Right.
supposed to kind of, add testosterone into your body, they're not doing what they claim they're doing, and it does cause a whole host of really, really crappy side effects.
Right.
So, now that being said, in the industry that I'm in, steroids are a very real thing. People always have lots of questions about. Not for me, not something I plan on ever doing. For people who do participate in that, I'm also not against it. It's absolutely your body. What you want to do with it, go nuts. That being said, if you do decide to pursue avenues like that, if you don't educate yourself, you are absolutely going to wreck yourself.
Yeah.
There are so many terrible things that, going on steroid regimens or these black market powdered steroids that you can take. God, stay away from that stuff. Oh my God.
So scary.
But, it can absolutely do exactly what you think it's going to do. Now, that being said, one of the things about steroids that I find a lot of people confused about is they say, oh, just take steroids and you'll get ripped and easy, quick, easy. No, it's not true. If you're on steroids, you still have to put in the work. You can't just do steroids and hope for the best. Like, it doesn't work at all. Period.
If it's too good to be true, it is.
Yeah, so if you see those guys at the gym that look like they've got a little roid rage going on, but they also look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, that's somebody who's on steroids and doesn't understand what they're doing. Yes, so you absolutely have to put the work in. What steroids allow you to do is they allow your body to recover at an exponential rate. And thusly, you can build muscle tissue quicker because you're recovering faster. You can work out at a higher intensity more times per week as opposed to a natural athlete. So that's why those dramatic results do start to appear with people who do that. So again, I just want to be clear, I'm not endorsing it as a product. I'm not saying you should go out and do it. I'm saying if you want to pursue that avenue, you go and you educate yourself. But don't come to me looking to be educated on that. It's not something I do, it's not something I ever plan on doing, and it's not something I would ever coach somebody through. So,
there you go.
Be smart, get educated, but don't do it.
Amen. Intermittent fasting, wow.
Ooh.
We should probably do a next week on fasting because that is a very
I think that's really
that's
good.
a huge thing. I was gonna say, really,
because
we should go
we
into
already
that.
covered
So,
a lot.
Cassidy, thank you for that question. You know what?
Go on that.
I'm gonna touch it just briefly. I'm gonna touch that subject just briefly. But we could do an entire sit down and talk about intermittent fasting and fasting in general.
Next week, yep.
So next week,
we have someone else that wants
we're
it too.
absolutely going to do a show on fasting, intermittent fasting. So please stop on by, check that show out. We will absolutely cover that topic for you guys because it is a widely popular topic.
Yep.
I do it myself. Yeah. I know a lot of fitness professionals that utilize it, and
you can do it wrong too.
But for reasons that you
wrong.
Probably don't think are for.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So to touch upon it real quick, the biggest thing that I want to say about intermittent fasting is fasting is not calorie omission. So a lot of times people will think, oh, fasting, I'm eating less food. No. What fasting truly is you are condensing the window of time in which you eat food. So you're still getting your caloric and your nutritional needs met on your daily basis, but it's in a much smaller window of time. So from a scientific standpoint, what this does is this affects your mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of your cell. And when you're in that fasted state, the mitochondria become very power hungry.
Yes.
And the body only has one means of producing power: calories. Well, if you don't have any calories readily available to use, what do you suppose your body's going to use for energy to fill those holes in your mitochondria? Fat. So, again, we're just briefly touching the surface right here. But that's kind of what fasting's all about, why it's beneficial, how it can help you, and that it can absolutely be done wrong if you look at it as calorie restriction as opposed to a shortened window of eating time.
Yeah, this is cool. We should definitely take suggestions on topics.
No, we should. Well, I mean, the reason we talk is for people.
Yeah,
so
good. We got a bunch of different people that were saying,
yeah.
Let's do it. And that being said, if you guys have other suggestions for topics you'd love to know more about, please shoot us a DM. Let us know in the comments. When we're doing a show, we'll put it on our list. Again, Danielle just said we do the show for you guys. I mean, I'm not getting anything except a sore butt sitting on the stool. So, but yeah,
it's good
so
for us too.
Awesome. I learn something every single time.
Yeah, absolutely, from each other.
Yeah,
I learn from you guys all the time.
Yeah, and everyone else that's
putting
their comments.
So I think that's probably where we're going to wrap today because we are coming up on an hour.
Yeah.
This has been a great show, great meal. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for all of this great interaction we've got on our Twitch channel, our YouTube channel. We've had a lot of great
we have you talk
Instagram
about sodium
stuff.
too. We can talk about sodium.
Ooh, sodium, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done. No, this is great, Cassidy. Thank you so much. We love stuff like this.
Yep.
But yeah, so we're Better University. I'm Dan.
I'm Victoria.
And Danielle.
And we're here every Sunday to do our cooking show. We have a meal subscription service, $5 a month.
That's it.
Each Monday, we send out the meal prep and the grocery list guide for what we're going to be doing the following show. So it gives you a full 5 or 6 days to get your grocery shopping done. And then you can cook along with the show.
Yeah.
Of course, if you want to cook along with the show anyways, you're always welcome to. The replays are up on our YouTube channel. Those will never go away. They'll always be there.
Ooh,
Oh,
Mother's
shoot,
Day
that's
is
right.
next week.
Next Sunday?
Yeah.
So finding the meal plan real quick.
Okay.
If you go on our website, mybetteruniversity.com, and then you go to
Course catalog.
and then it's tier 1.
Yeah,
Tier 1.
right under our subscriptions, it's tier 1. I'm actually going to be making that a little bit more clear either today or tomorrow, because we have had a couple be like, hey, we can't find the subscription service on your show. And I'm like, oh, why not? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, it's right there. Then I'm looking at it, but I know exactly what that is. Other people looking at it, what is that? So we will make that a little bit more clear. But if you click on the tier 1 subscription button in the course catalog, it won't automatically enroll you in anything. It'll just bring up a whole bunch of information on what our meal prep subscription is. So you can check it out there. Feel free to subscribe, and if you liked the show, please make sure you hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on Twitch, please make sure you follow it, because again, just getting that interaction on our social media is what drives those algorithms and just helps us get the word out to more people.
And everyone's asking about next Sunday.
Yes, so, okay.
I know.
Let's address this now before we wrap up the show, just because...
we need to figure that out.
Yeah, so next Sunday is in fact Mother's Day.
Yes.
Do we want to do the show on Sunday, or do we want to do what we did last time, where we do it on the Friday or the Saturday before?
I am doing a heart walk on Saturday morning, but we can do Saturday. What do you think?
I could do Saturday.
Yeah,
Or do
Saturday,
we could.
I have to check my schedule. No, I can't. Wait. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Hold on, let me pop up my calendar real quick.
Yes, because I only have one thing that at
So maybe
nighttime.
Saturday,
So
like afternoon.
Saturday afternoon should work.
Late afternoon, early evening, somewhere in there?
My walk's in Worcester.
I would have to do it earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Saturday, earlier afternoon, we're going to do next week's show, so that way everybody can go enjoy Mother's Day and not have to worry about missing anything.
Yes.
All right? So definitely, again, just to recap on that, Saturday, early afternoon, we'll be doing this show next week. And again, only when we have holidays on Sundays will we kind of deviate from that. Otherwise, we try to keep it really consistent, so that way, you guys don't have to worry about figuring out when our schedule is.
Right. And it will be chicken nuggets.
Chicken
Healthy
nuggets!
chicken nuggets.
Healthy chicken nuggets!
with sweet potato fries.
Woo! All right. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Next Saturday, we'll cover intermittent fasting.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
All should work.
All right. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace.
Peace out.
Out.